Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, et bienvenue chez mon 10e épisode sur la grammaire du français. Hello everyone, and welcome to my 10th episode on French grammar. In this episode, I will explain the pronoun I. The pronoun I can be a little bit tricky to understand because, like indirect object pronouns, the pronoun I often replaces the preposition a and a noun phrase. But it does this in a different context to indirect object pronouns. Remember that indirect object pronouns replace indirect objects which play the role of recipients, where some form of change in ownership occurs, whether real or metaphoric, such as in I give lessons to high school students, or the beneficiary, where some benefit is received, as in I make videos for my high school students. The pronoun I is used to replace noun phrases that play the role of location. For example, the sentence I am in Sydney can be followed by the sentence I am here all the time, where here has replaced in Sydney. In French, this would be je suis à Sydney, j'y suis tout le temps. In the French example, I has replaced à Sydney, where à Sydney expresses the location of the verb rather than a recipient or a beneficiary. One note with this use of the pronoun is that it's not necessarily the preposition à that will be replaced. For example, le livre est sur la table, il y est. The book is on the table, it's there. Where I has replaced sur la table, but you can see that it still expresses a location. Similarly, the pronoun I replaces a direction or goal. For example, I'm going to Paris. I'm going there next week. Je vais à Paris. J'y vais la semaine prochaine. Where again the pronoun I has replaced à Paris, but in this sentence, à Paris plays the role of a direction or a goal. A note with this use is that the goal doesn't have to be a physical place. This can be seen in I am thinking about lunch. I think about it often. In French, je pense au déjeuner. J'y pense souvent, where au déjeuner or about lunch has been replaced with the pronoun I. This is still a direction or a goal, just not a physical one. So you can see that I often replaces a and a noun phrase, just like indirect object pronouns do, but it replaces them when they play a different role to the indirect object. There is an important note for this pronoun. It is not used to replace noun phrases that express people. It's only used for non-human things. For example, if I say I'm thinking about my mother, I think about her often, I would keep the preposition and use a tonic pronoun rather than the pronoun I. In French, je pense à ma mère, je pense souvent à elle. I will cover tonic pronouns in a future episode. One final comment about communicative verbs in French, things like téléphoner à and parler à, verbs that express some form of communication. These take indirect object pronouns. I feel these convey the idea of a recipient. Perhaps this is why we say something like somebody receives a phone call. And that concludes my episode on the pronoun I. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, please post a comment and I'll do my best to respond.